first pick, the Atlanta Hawks select Zachary Rizache.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. That's the only way I can react to this pick. Hawks fans might like it. I certainly saw a lot of Hawks fans on Twitter not liking this pick. And I get it, man. The appeal of him is that he's 6'9", he's a wing, and apparently he's drilling nearly 39% of his attempts from the three-point line, right? And he's obviously can defend with the best of them, I guess. I mean, let's see his stats here, right? For the international stats that he put up, right? He's played international basketball for years now. And in his recent season, averaging just over 10 points a game. Now, people may look at this and laugh. Oh my God, they drafted a player that's averaging 10 points. Bro, as we'll see with the other picks, you'll see there's a pattern here that begins to emerge. You see here 35.2% in the LNB Pro A, whilst he shot 56% in the Euro Cup, right? That's interesting stuff here. But he's shooting just over 3.4 attempts, 3-point attempts, that is, per game. So I wonder how much shots he'll put up to where he'll be able to shoot as efficiently as he did in the Euro Cup, right? I don't know if he can shoot 50+%, but what I do know is he might not even shoot 40%. Depending on the day, he might shoot below 30%. You know, that's the thing with him. That's the concern I have for him, really, is one of those jack of all trades picks, not good at anything specifically, but you know, he could do a lot of other things, right? He's like the defensive wing, the free ND player. By the way, talking about a free ND role player as the #1 pick is crazy to me. That's what has happened to this game, man.
Alex Sarr from Toulouse, France.
Now, this was a good pick for Washington. And I think a lot of people are going to agree, right? This is not coming, by the way, from a draft expert. I'm not here trying to be a draft expert. I'm just here recapping what I think of the draft. And if y'all care enough to listen to it, so be it, man. His stats, let's just look at them, okay? In the NBL, he was third in blocks, right? But he was also averaging less than 10 points a game. Well, let's look more into these stats, okay? Alex Sarr is an interesting player, guys. He played for the Australian team. He played less than 20 minutes a game, right? Rizache, he played, 22 minutes a game? But I think with Sarr, the difference is that, you know, I think the potential, his upside is way higher than anybody in his class. That's the thing with him. He's, I think, 6'11". Looks like he can shoot at a decent level. Obviously, 2 threes a game, shooting less than 30%. I think a lot of people are going to obviously overthink it and say, I don't know, man. He might not translate to the NBA in terms of his offensive game. He's very raw offensively. I will say that, right? Some people say he could be an Evan Mobley type player where it'll take time for his offense to really, you know, line up with what he could potentially be. But look, this is a guy that defensively has the upside of a very great defender, a generational maybe. This is a guy who offensively could have an upside that is better than a Jaren Jackson Jr., for example, a guy that many people compare him to. Look, I think this was a good pick for Washington. They're building for the future, clearly. Let's talk about a trade that happened during the draft as well, by the way. So the Wizards opened up the draft, right, by trading Danny Avdija, one of their most valuable pieces, if not the most valuable asset that they currently have, besides Bilal Coulibaly, right? And they obviously traded him to Portland for Malcolm Brogdon, the 14th pick of this year's draft, and the 2029 pick. I think Portland got that pick from the Warriors. So interesting stuff here. I would honestly say this is not enough for a guy like Denny, a guy that's just come off the best season of his career. I think a lot of people are looking at this. I think he's 22, 23 years old. Huge upside. So, of course, that's a guy that if you're trading, you're expecting to get more than just a Malcolm Brogdon. But maybe that 14th pick will be worth it.
Reed Shepherd.
What?
Whoa.
That's Reed. It's like
I didn't think that was gonna go in this direction.
I'm not gonna lie to you when I tell you this was one of the least surprising picks in this draft.
Oh, bro, what is Houston doing, bro?
Yeah, there's something about this pick that obviously I made a lot of people question what the Rockets were doing. But if you look at it, man, it's a pick that makes sense for them. Obviously, they need shooting. They're one of the worst shooting teams in the league, bottom 10 in the league, right? I think they're 23rd coming into last season. Amin Thompson still needs to improve his jumper. So picking a guy like Stephon Castle wouldn't that make sense? Because first off, he also needs to work on his jumper. You need a guy that could shoot, obviously, to space the floor. You already got Şengün. You already got Jabari, Eason. Look, you already got the front court players figured out. I think the Rockets, it made sense for them to go after a guard that can, space the floor at the level that he did. I know he only shot, four free pointers a game, but he shot 50+% from the 3-point line. Obviously, his shooting is much more, catch and shoot oriented. There's not that much, shot creation that you're going to get from him. But at the same time, though, this is a guy that you can count on, giving you great offense, right, when needed. And he can play make a little. Look, from what I've seen, at least, I'm not saying this as a draft expert. I'm saying this as somebody that's, he's seen some of his clips, right? Some of the games that I've seen from him, he doesn't look too bad, man. I mean, he quite frankly looked like one of the best college players in the league last season, man.
The San Antonio Spurs select Stephon Castle.
Interesting pick for the Spurs, obviously electing to go for a guard that they obviously can defend. And the thing is, his shooting needs some work. But I think with Wemby, this is a player that you definitely, would want next to him. A guy that has upside like a Drew Holiday. His favorite player, he says, is Jason Tatum. This is going to be interesting to watch. The Spurs are starting to build a roster that makes sense around Wemby, right? And they got another guy off the draft, Stephon Castle. And by the way, they have the 8th pick, so they could get another guy that can contribute, not just day one, but can contribute for the long haul and be part of the future for Wemby in the Spurs.
Ron Holland II.
Okay, this was shocking. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was one of the biggest surprises I've seen in the draft. Not to say that he doesn't deserve to be picked that high. I actually think he should have been picked top 3, right? He's that good. The thing is, though, Detroit as a team is struggling with spacing. Cade, you see him often getting crowded in the paint because of how bad their shooters are. Now, Detroit, they have done things to work around the edges. They traded for Fontecchio. I think they also traded for, what was it? No, it wasn't Muscala. Was it Muscala? I think it was Muscala they traded for. They obviously need some shooting to complement the guys like Cade and Ivy, right? You have Duran as well. Stewart plays minutes. Marvin Bagley, I'm not sure what they've done with him. Muscala, obviously, I talked about him, but he got waived, I'm pretty sure. He's in OKC now. They got Fontecchio, yeah. They got Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes. But I feel like Detroit, they could have really capitalized off getting a player that could space the floor, man. Because now you're asking Ron Holland, obviously, to work on his jumper in a team that is already bad for spacing. Ron Holland basically is going to have to provide some very good shooting for them to be, remotely good. Look, this is a good pick. This is not a bad pick. It's just a questionable pick coming from the roster construction aspect of it. Look, they might have just said, look, fuck it, man. Let's just go with the best player available, which I'm not mad at, but at the same time, I don't know, man. This might come back to bite them, like obviously the picks they've done over the last couple of years have. Okay, this one I know a lot of people are going to have some problems with. Tidjane Salom from France. By the way, let's just say this. Having 3 French players in the top 6 in the draft is actually historic. This is quite a statement to make, man. France all the way, man, is what it seems like in this draft. Now to talk about the pick that many people, scratch their heads at. People, I remember this last year, at one point, were deeming this kid to be the next Giannis. This is a very bold, let's just see what he got type of pick. This is a bold pick at number 6. But I think with Charlotte, their roster already is starting to make sense. And I think what they're doing now is obviously filling a gap at the wing spot, but also not just that, trying to swing big on the player that could cash in and become, a very good player. He has upside, that is pretty high up. I don't think people know enough about this kid. I think people need to brush up more on what he does. Now, I will say, though, he's very raw. So, don't expect him to come and burst onto the seams this year or next year or anytime soon, okay? Now, if you looked at the mock drafts, Portland had, a lot of people saying that they were going to pick Klingon. Now, what this most likely means is DeAndre Ayton is either going to be on the move or I don't know. It's going to be awkward for DeAndre. I will say that. So much for him being a domination. And I will say this makes what Portland did last season even more questionable. Like, okay, you're trading for all those guys. But Malcolm Brogdon, you already traded him during the draft. It's looking like Aiton's on the move. Robert Williams, I'm not sure what's going to happen to him. And of course, Kamara is the only player that I feel like will be on this roster long term. He has upside. He has a future on this team, I'm pretty sure. And now for Scoot, this is a great addition to the team. He's going to love Klingon. Anthony Simons, likewise, but I think Scoot is going to really benefit from Klingon being on the team. Spurs selecting Rob Dillingham. People were ecstatic for the Spurs, man. This was a great pick. But unfortunately, this pick will be traded to the Timberwolves for future picks. And I know people are scratching their heads on that one too. Why would the Spurs do this? This is the perfect match for a Wembanyama. I think what the Spurs are probably doing is cashing in on more assets to obviously use in a trade package to get somebody that obviously could play better now. I think a Trae Young maybe or DeJounte Murray. I think you got to look out for that. I think the Spurs are going to try to use those picks that Minnesota gave them for a package that might be enticing to everyone. This one was shocking. Zach Edey at number 9. Memphis Grizzlies picked him. This dude Edey gets too much hate. He gets too much hate. I'm not going to lie to you. But I understand where some of the concerns are, man. He's slow-footed, right? Obviously, his shooting is not really there. So he's really going to have to play back to the basket post-up. And I'm not sure if he can play that level of basketball in the NBA with his, obviously, footwork lacking. Now, the thing is with Edey, he's 7'4". That's the great thing about him. And it was widely reported that the Grizzlies were actually pursuing Klingon. One went as far as to say that there was a trade, going on with Charlotte so that the Grizzlies could obviously pick Klingon at number 6. But it didn't materialize. Jake Fisher obviously ended up looking like a fool. Oh boy. So I suppose the Grizzlies said, what? You know what, man? Let's settle with what's, the second best thing, I guess, in Zach Edey, right? Klingon was the number 1 option. But now they got their guy in Zach Edey. I think Ja's going to love this guy. I think a lot of people don't understand what Steven Adams provided. I think Edey could provide much the same thing as a screener. You about to see Edey do a lot of Gortat screens for Ja. Not just that, but you're probably going to see some interesting, two-man game between him and Ja. Okay, moving forward, I won't talk too much about these picks. Cody Williams, this is a good pick from the Jazz. Can't really tell you much else other than that. It's a good pick. Demon hometown, Chicago man. Matas goes back to Chicago. Interesting stuff here. I like stories like this, but at the same time, I really hope he pans out in Chicago. I'm very, very nervous because Chicago is not a good landing spot for a player, especially a player that is, as good as Matas. I think I might be one of the biggest fans of Matas in this draft. I was hoping the Raptors could get him with the pick that we had. Obviously, the Spurs took our pick, so we couldn't really do that. Another player I was thinking of was Ron Holland, but that's besides the point. Look, this was the pick that I wanted. Matas, unfortunately, is not a Raptor. We'll get into that later, by the way. This another good pick from the Thunder, man. I will say this. He did tear his ACL, which is obviously the concern, and obviously the reason he fell so low in the draft. But I think people in Serbia got to stop naming their children Nikola like this, man. Like, this is crazy, bro. Nikola Jokic, Nikola Jovic, Nikola Topic. Like, this is getting out of hand, bro. Who's next? Like, who's next, bro? Genuinely. Nikola Bovic? Like, oh my gosh, bro. Again, a lot of these picks are pretty good picks, man. Bob Carrington, this is the Wizards pick. So this is who they traded down to. Interesting stuff from the Wizards. I hate that Miami got this guy, bro. This guy looks like he's going to pan out really good, man. I like this guy a lot. This might line up to be one of the funniest seasons, man. Seeing rookie Jared McCain in Philly. Those TikToks with Embiid about to go crazy. Rob Pelinka actually cooked Dalton Connect. This is a good pick for a team that's trying to contend. A ready now player in Connect. This is good. At this point, you could tell I'm more enamored with the later picks than I am with the top 5 picks. Okay, Tristan Da Silva. I like this guy a lot. And now for my Raptors, I actually did a reaction live when I saw this pick. And let me tell you, I was hella nervous. I'm not gonna lie, bro. What I'm hoping for is either Jacoby Walter, Isaiah Collier, or whatchamacallit, I forgot the other guy. But no Kyle Filipowski, please. For the love of God, please no Kyle Filipowski, bro. We're on the freaking clock, man. Oh boy. Yo, this shit, I'm not gonna lie, this shit about to be nasty, bro.
Everyone except Quan, let's get in a praise circle for Kyle Slafowski.
Bro, stop! I do not want this dude to be picked. Please, leave me alone. Yo, can y'all stop, bro? I do not want Kyle on my team, please.
We want Kyle on your team.
I don't. Please.
We do.
Kyle Slafowski. Kyle Slafowski. Kyle Slafowski. Kyle Slafowski.
Gotta be nasty, bro. I'm gonna give us
Crody?
Kashawn George.
5 years of reliable gig speed
And
internet.
he's from Toronto.
5 years of advanced security.
24 NBA draft. The Toronto Raptors select Jacoby Walter.
No! No! No!
Let's go, baby. Man, too bad the mic quality was so shit, man. But that was my reaction. I was fucking happy, bro. I'm so happy they picked Jacoby Walter, bro. Apparently, this dude was named by his parents, and it was named after Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. We got ourselves a demon. Okay, I'm going to skim through the last 10 picks and really talk about what I think are great picks, what I think are interesting picks, what I think are questionable picks. This is a guy that I was looking at myself, like, oh, is Masai going to pick him? You know, he's Cameroonian, let's see. Interesting pick from New Orleans. Are they moving off of Jonas Valanciunas? Maybe. This is going to be interesting. This one was a great pick by Phoenix until I saw the bottom third. Look at this. The Nuggets of all teams proposed a trade and they got Darren Holmes on their team, bro. There's no way, bro. The Nuggets just keep getting better at the draft. Like this is insanity. And I think the Suns, they traded this pick for I think the 28th pick and the 56th pick, something like that. But yeah, they traded this to go, you know, further down the draft. Interesting stuff. Milwaukee. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this pick? AJ Johnson. Are you fucking serious right now? The Ringer had this dude mocked in the late second round, 52nd pick in the draft, and the Bucks selected him at 23. Sorry. I'm trying to work on the number 3, okay? 23? I think that sounded way better. In this mock draft, AJ Johnson goes number 40. Okay, interesting. In this CBS mock draft, but which, by the way, has Khalil Ware in the second round. What the fuck? They have AJ Johnson going 29. What? Like, okay, CBS, I'm not gonna lie, they're just terrible. But the consensus was that AJ Johnson was a second round guy, right? He's at 48 in this mock draft. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I don't know what Milwaukee was thinking here. Sure, this is a big swing at a prospect that could work out, but that's gonna take years down the line. He's not ready for the NBA. You're a contender! This is no disrespect to the kid, man. I think he's 18 years old. He just came off a season averaging less than 3 points a game, shooting 37% from the field. I don't think this kid's ready, bro. I don't think the Bucks think he's ready either. Why would you pick him? You're a contending team. You need somebody to play now. Now, fortunately for the Bucks, they have the 33rd pick, and so I guess today, as this video is gonna be coming out, we'll see what the Bucks do with this 33rd pick. The Knicks, I guess, picked up McCrody, Kashawn George. Well, apparently there was a proposed trade as well for the Wizards to actually pick the Knicks pick. I think the Wizards were targeting Kashawn George. Interestingly enough, okay. Okay, this is an actual Knicks pick, and I like it. I like the pick so much that I'm pissed that he didn't fall to us. Raptors, man. This is disgusting. Pacome Dadier from France. This guy looks good, man. I think you guys should watch some tape of this kid, man. Now, this is the Wizards pick that's supposed to go to the Knicks, but the Knicks also traded this pick to the Thunder. So now the Knicks, I think, have a pick farther in the draft in the second round. I think Presti, actually, no. Wait, how many second round picks did Presti give him? 5 second round picks? The Thunder, they gave 5 second round picks to the Knicks for Dylan Jones. Oh, I've seen a lot of draft people that said, why did the Thunder do this, right? Sam Presti, I guess, sees something in this kid. I don't know, man. Some people say this is not a good pick. Some people question it. So I'm just going to stick with that and say, look, this might be a questionable pick, but I guess Sam Presti sees something in Dylan Jones, okay? The Suns select Ryan Dunn with the Nuggets pick that they traded for. From what I saw, I think this is a guy in Virginia that can play now. Defensively, he offers a lot for the Suns team. They're obviously going to want him to play pivotal minutes in the playoffs. The only problem is his offense. I think his offense needs a lot of work, but that could be developed, right? Whatever impact this guy can have defensively, I think it's gonna be vital for them. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Part of me felt disgusted seeing this pick, and it's not just because I liked Collier to go to the Raptors. Right, as you can see here, 2 picks away from us at 31, bro. We're so close, bro. We were so close to getting Collier as a steal of the draft. Now, let me say this, okay? This pick that the Utah Jazz have is a pick they got from us in a trade that included Otto Porter Jr. on our side and Kira Lewis. And I think there was another pick maybe. No, I don't think there was. But basically, we traded a first-round pick. That was like one of the big pieces in the trade for us. And we got Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji back. So a lot of people are going to question Masai, why did you do this in hindsight? When that pick ended up being Isaiah Collier, yeah, that's not going to reflect well. It stings. It stings. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. And Boston Faithful, with the last pick of the draft, select a interesting white guy. This white kid is proud. He sure is proud. Hey, man, good pick, I guess. Second round of the draft starts tomorrow for whatever reason. Adam Silver, why did you do this? I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Not many people are going to want to tune into the second round. The only reason why I want to watch it is because my Raptors have their first pick. So technically, we have the first pick of the draft tomorrow. Let's go. Look, let me tell you something, man. The 3 players I prefer is either, one of Tyler Kolek, Tyler Smith, not in order, by the way, and Kyle Filipowski. Those are the 3 players that if the Raptors pick, I'm going to be very happy. I'm going to be like, you know what, man, these are good picks. I will say, if he picks a Cameroonian, Ulrich Chomsky, whatever, I forgot that guy's name, but he's a very young prospect from Cameroon. Kyle Filipowski's interesting. I just think obviously defensively his measurements don't line up with a guy that's 7 foot. Obviously his wingspan is much to be desired. Tyler Smith I like, but from the highlights I've seen, look, I know highlights are not the end all be all, but he just seems like a rim runner, like a lob threat. Like he could shoot from outside, I guess, but like I don't know if that's gonna be replicable in the NBA. I doubt it. He played for G League Ignite. I know people have a very negative perception on the G League Ignite. And Tyler Kolek, I've seen some tape. He looks good. He looks offensively. He looks ready now. He's ready to contribute to any team now. He's looking like a potential steal of the draft as well. Actually, all 3 guys that I mentioned, I think look like steal of draft material, bro. They look really good. But Kolek, the one drawback, I saw people say he's apparently illiterate. He can't read. That's crazy, bro. We got the white Mayweather, and we might potentially draft him. That's going to be interesting. Hopefully, Raptors do pick one of those 3 guys. But that's about it, man. Let me know if you guys want me to do more recaps on certain events that happened in the NBA world. This was an interesting video. I hope you guys like it, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.